Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Mike from F1 Fanatics. How's it going, Mike?
Yeah, it's going well, thank you, mate. It's been brilliant. Obviously, I know from seeing your kind of first video when you popped up, we've kind of talked ever since then. So it's great to finally come onto your channel. And well, it's always good to kind of talk predictions on this. So I'm looking forward to being on the channel with you today, mate.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, as you said, we've been talking for a while, and you've supported me all the way. So really do appreciate that. So for those of you who, for some miracle, don't know who Mike is, Mike, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do?
So I'm Mike from F1 Fanatics, and we're a kind of four-man team. You got me, my brother Stephen, Ash, and we also have Mark as well. We kind of talk a wide range of F1 topics. Obviously, with this extended break in the close season, there's been a lot of F1 topics to kind of fill the void of real life racing. But then in the season, obviously we're so close to it now, we kind of do kind of previews, reviews, and all the kind of race day coverage on that front. And yeah, just talk F1.
Yeah, awesome. And you've just hit 300 videos and really close to 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, hopefully you hit that milestone very soon.
Thank you, mate.
For those people who didn't know about Mike, you should definitely go and check out his channel. He's got great content over there. Right, let's get into the video. So, the way this video is going to work, we're each going to make 3 sort of bold predictions for the season. It's not going to be, the order of everyone finishing in the championship. Not a typical predictions video, but these predictions are going to be for certain races, results, or just general predictions. So I'm going to hand it over to Mike to explain his first prediction.
Right, go on the spot. First up, this is exciting. So bold predictions I always find fun because you can go a little bit wild and wacky on this one. So my first of my 3 bold predictions are going to be that Alfa Romeo are going to be the better Alpha. And I think this is a bold prediction because obviously Alpha Tauri, formerly known as Toro Rosso last year, they had a pretty good season, and Alfa Romeo, after having a strong start with Kimi in the team, they kind of tailed off in the second half of the season, and they weren't kind of spectacular in pre-season. But I just think, I've got a gut feeling that Alfa Romeo are going to be the better Alpha this season.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, you've seen my predictions, but I haven't seen yours. So that one, wow, that's bold. I can see where you're coming from. Yeah. It all depends how good that Honda package is this year, and if it compares to the Ferrari engine. So yeah. Right, I'll go on to my prediction now. My first prediction is that both RedBulls will get at least 1 win. Now, this being Alex Albon's second season in Formula 1, it'll be his first full season with Red Bull, so he's had the chance to sort of settle into that car and sort of, get to know the team a lot more. So I think he's going to do a lot better this year, and it could mean his first win in Formula 1. Again, going back to what Mike said, it all depends on how good the Honda package is. But personally, I feel like Alex Albon will get his first win and first podium, really, because he hasn't been on the podium in Formula 1 yet. Now, I was going to extend it and say that Albon will get more wins than Verstappen, but personally, I don't think that Alex Albon will match Max Verstappen at all. But yeah, I personally believe that both Red Bulls will get at least 1 win each. What do you think, Mike?
Wow, I was going to say, mate, if you went the kind of Albon to score Max Verstappen in terms of wins, you'd have a whole orange army on your back coming after you. But no, I think this is bold because for me, Alex Albon, we had a rookie season where he just seemed to adapt to every challenge that was thrown at him. But the only chance he got close to a podium last year was when 3 of the top 6 cars weren't in the race anymore. And that was obviously Bottas, Vettel and Leclerc all retiring. He's now got a full pre-season under his belt, and it's been obviously a very unusual pre-season in that aspect. Will he get a win? That would be a bold prediction if it came off. I don't know. I definitely think he'll probably score a podium, but I think a win might be out of reach for Albon this season. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, as you said about Brazil in 2019, a lot's got to sort of happen at the front for maybe him to put himself in that sort of position to pick up a win. Because obviously, as you said, the double Ferrari DNF that still haunts me to this day. But I was upset with that one. But yeah, I mean, you've got like four very experienced people, and then Leclerc, who's very, very quick. I mean, yes, people seem to forget that Leclerc's only had 2 seasons in Formula One, and yeah, while he is experienced, but Albon is by far on the back foot out of those top 6. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do this season, and you never know, if he ends up getting the win, that's a point to me, I guess. So, yeah, let's go on to our second predictions then. Mike, I'll hand it over to you to discuss your second prediction.
Now, I'm not sure how bold this is because of how they looked in pre-season, but I'm going to go with Sergio Perez is going to finish best of the rest. And the reason I'm going to go Sergio Perez best of the rest, because I think everyone's expecting McLaren to be strong again. They seem like a team who are back on the top. Obviously, historically a very successful team within the sport. We all know the 2010s were kind of a decade to forget for them. But yeah, I think they'd probably be the favourites. And Renault obviously finishing 5th in the Constructors last year with Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon in the team. They'd probably be, the second favourites of that. But I feel good about the Racing Point. I believe the hype. And Sergio Perez, I mean, the back end of last season, he steals. I think the guy's probably coming into his prime in terms of he's got the experience. Obviously, he's the type of guy that whenever he gets an opportunity, he grabs that podium chance for himself. I just think that he's going to come out on top in that kind of midfield driver battle outside of the top 6.
Oh wow, that is a good prediction. You see, I'm kind of torn on Racing Point, just in general, because yes, they appear to have a fast car. It's similar to the 2019 Mercedes. There are elements on that car that match up with the Mercedes, but I understand now that they've had to postpone the 2022 rules. They are some development areas are frozen, so they can't actually do stuff. But I think they're going to start the season off quite strong, and then once development sort of comes around, once teams know a bit more about what's happening in that season, I think they might start to fall behind a bit to McLaren, maybe, just because they might not be able to keep up the development because they have bought all their parts, elsewhere and stuff like that, and it's proven to be like the parts they're using are championship-winning parts. So
my point on that would be with McLaren. McLaren have looked financially insecure in this time. Obviously not, on the verge of collapse, but they're certainly actively pursuing more investment into the team. Where Racing Point, soon to be Aston Martin, have that secure backing of Lawrence Stroll, and he's committed to the team. So any improvements and develops, yes, obviously it's being nicknamed the Pink Mercedes, the Racing Point, but that factory team is a very good team. They've overachieved. They were probably one of the teams. They were probably the midfield team of the 2010 decade, actually. Obviously previously as Force India in terms of the results they could get for the means that they had. And so, yeah, that's why I was feeling a little bit more confident even with the kind of freezes in development.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, so as you said, Sergio Perez is very experienced and, coming into his prime. Yeah, I would agree on that. I mean, Sergio Perez has been in the sport for quite a long time, so he knows, and he's been in that team for a while as well, so he knows the team inside out. So, that that could really help push them towards that, or him towards the best of the rest. So yeah, good one. That was a good one. Right, I'm going to do my second prediction now. So mine is Renault related. I'm going to say that Renault will make it onto the podium. And I know they've had chances, Nico Hülkenberg, in the past to get on the podium, and it's fair to say he's bottled it, which really upsets me as a huge Nico Hülkenberg fan. But I just think Ocon and Ricciardo are two very strong drivers. Yes, Ocon's had a year out, but personally I feel that one of them will make it on the podium, given a sort of crazy shake-it-up race. Not too crazy, such as Germany 2019. I mean, that was mental, but a somewhat crazy race where you see a bunch of the front runners DNF or have problems, or if it's changeable conditions, I don't see why they couldn't get on the podium. I feel like Ricciardo's got the experience and the racecraft to do it, but Ocon's also very quick. I'm not saying Daniel Ricciardo's not quick, but Ocon's quick, and I feel like even though he's had the year out, I feel like he'll still come back and he'll do a really, really good job. So I'm not going to say which driver, but I'm just going to say Renault will make it onto the podium. You got any thoughts on that?
Bold call. Just because Renault, for me, underachievers for the resources that they have. Yeah, I wouldn't say the biggest underachievers, because for me, Ferrari are the biggest underachievers with the resources that they have available to them. But Renault, I can't see this one. It would be bold if it came off. I can't see this one, just on the pure fact that I don't think the team harmony is going to be good, because obviously with Ricciardo moving to McLaren for the 2021 season, Renault still not confirmed who will be driving for them in the 2021 season alongside Esteban Ocon. It just kind of feels for me that there could be some inner team friction, that when a midfield team are going for a podium, they need everyone going in the same direction. And I'm just not sure with Cyril at the head of the team whether they would be able to manage to get everyone going in the same direction for that year.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, yeah, with tensions will be high at Renault, because obviously Ricciardo was supposed to be their, quote, long-term future, and the team was supposed to be being built around him, but they had an appalling 2019. There's no other word for it. They finished 2018 with Hülkenberg being best of the rest, and Renault being fourth in the constructors. They had a good strong year, and then they dropped back, and they kept dropping back in the season. They didn't drop as far back as Haas or Williams, but they weren't on par with McLaren. They were at some races, but not others. But yeah, as you said, the team harmony, and from what we've seen of Cyril, we know that he's not a very nice guy. So yeah, and that's just based off what we see in Drive to Survive. But to be honest, I do like the little scrap between Horner and Cyril, because it's just funny. But yeah, tensions will be high, and if they do manage to make a podium, then I guess brilliant, and it'll be really good for Renault, sort of give them that little boost to keep going. But yeah, I mean, we're only a few weeks away from racing, so by the time this video goes out, we'll be racing at the weekend. But the chances are very slim, but it might happen. I mean, I'm not gonna put any money on it because that would be silly. But yeah. So, should we go on to your final prediction for today's video?
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good. And hey, this is all about bold predictions. So, with Renault going there, you're going to look a genius when it comes off. In the first race at Austria, it's you're going to be like, I told you so. So my third and final one, I'll steal it from when we did bold predictions on our channel. Is Sebastian Vettel to win the 2020 World Drivers' Championship. Why I'm going to do this this is probably more romantic rather than realistic on that front. I think Ferrari have proven over the past decade that you can't necessarily rely on them to get everything going in the same direction to build a championship winning car and take advantage of that situation. But Sebastian, it was his kind of dream as a kid. His hero, Michael Schumacher, all he achieved at the great Ferrari team. I would just, it's obviously been confirmed now that this will be his last season at Ferrari in 2020. I would just love to see it. So this is a bold prediction that I really do hope comes true. But realistically, I see it going to kind of Lewis or Max as the realistic outside shot on that front, and you could even argue that Charles is a more safe bet within that Ferrari team. But yeah, I would love to see Sebastian Vettel win the 2020 World title.
Yeah, I would as well. I mean, I'm a huge Sebastian Vettel fan, so I'd really, really, really like him to do it because he went to that team, he got out of Red Bull on that's somewhat controversial on how he did it, but I've always wanted to see him win that title, and I really thought 2018 was the year he was going to do it. And then I couldn't even watch the race in Germany. I was at one of my friends' parties, and after that my brother could only just load the title of the article, and my day was ruined. It was a horrible, horrible thing. But I think after 2018, he's kind of. I don't think he's been able to get that redemption back. And had he have come first in Germany of last season, so 2019, I think he would have had that sort of boost to keep going, and he would have jumped on that boost, and I think he might be a bit of a better shot. But again, it all comes down to, can Ferrari get everything going in the right direction, as you said? And from previous years, that's no. And as much as it would be great for it to happen, and yeah, I don't see it happening. But as you said with my Renault podium, if it works, you're a genius. So yeah, it's bold prediction, good one, and yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it actually happens because I want Vettel to be a 5-time world champion. Right, I'll go on to my final prediction. And I've technically already talked about this, to be honest. But I've basically said Racing Point will not score a podium this season. So there's been a lot of obviously speculation with Racing Point with their RP20 looking like, I think it's a W10. And as I said, I don't think. I mean, they've got a strong driver lineup. I mean, if anyone's going to be on that podium, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Perez. I'm not a huge fan of Lance Stroll, but personally, I just think there has to be a super, super crazy race for Lance to be in the position for a podium. Personally, as we saw in Germany and in Baku when he actually did get his podium, which was actually a brilliant race, and it was, you've got to give credit to him. He managed to keep his nose clean and, stay out of trouble, which, fair enough. But yes, he did get pipped by Bottas at the line, but who cares? He ended up on the podium. So yeah, I'm just going to say that neither of the cars are going to finish on the podium this season. I just think maybe the front three might. I'm pretty sure they'll still have a gap to Racing Point. But, as I said, I think Renault are going to end up on the podium. So, but I don't think Racing Point will. So, yeah, you got any thoughts, Mike?
Well, I think the fact that two of our bold predictions have been based around the Racing Point team, and I think that's because for me, going into the 2020 season, they're certainly the midfield team with the most intrigue because they looked great in pre-season testing, and obviously testing is just testing. We can't really take anything serious from that, and you just feel everything goes in the right direction with that. That team has finally got the financial backing that probably merits the quality of its factory team. Checo is obviously, a driver in that midfield who is a solid and strong performance. Lance overall hasn't had a great F1 career to date, but he has the potential to, by being in it long enough, to keep learning, and this could be a great season for Lance Stroll. We don't know on that front, but I just, maybe a podium is out of reach, just because I don't think there's been a big enough shift, unless we have like a Germany 2019 race or a Brazil 2019 race, where everything goes a little bit mental on that aspect. Obviously, both drivers are capable, as they've shown in the past, of taking advantage of those situations and getting a podium for their respective teams at the times. Obviously, Perez more so. But yeah, realistically, if we're talking about a podium matching the top three teams, despite how good they looked in pre-season testing, I think that gap is just too big for them to make up in this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I mean, I'd agree with what you said about Lance Stroll as well. I mean, for me, Lance Stroll just needs to sort out his qualifying, because he had a massive run of just poor qualifying at the start of 2019. And, it was his first year in Racing Point. Oh, I'm moving on too quick. But he had that run of poor qualifying, and it started to pick up through the season, but it didn't really, set the grid alight. It wasn't, wow, he did a really, really good qualifying there. Yes, he did well in Monza in 2017, but personally, I just think that, as you said, the gap is just too big. And if for some miracle that they do manage to close that gap, which you said they've got a good factory and good team behind them, and obviously now with the security of Aston Martin, which I'm very excited for because I love Aston Martin, but I don't think they're going to do it this season. So yeah, maybe next season, but not this season. Right, so Mike, are you able to just go through all your predictions just once more? Just briefly, just say what the prediction is, and then so I can put a list on the screen.
No problem at all. So my first bold prediction was that Alfa Romeo would be the better Alfa this season, and they will beat Alpha Tauri in the Constructors' Championship. My second one was that Sergio Perez will finish best of the rest out of the drivers in the midfield, believing the Racing Point hype. And my third and final one is that Sebastian Vettel will be the 2020 World Drivers' Champion and secure that kind of lifelong dream of winning a World Championship with Ferrari.
Awesome, thank you. I'm just going to quickly run through mine, and then I got two questions that are sort of just quick and easy. So my predictions were no Racing Point podium, Renault to make it to the podium, and both Red Bulls to get a win. Mine are very podium oriented, I've just realised, so great for variety there. So yeah, before we end the video, I just have two quick questions. The first one is, do you think there will be a red flag this season in a race?
Good call. We haven't had a red flag in a race for a very long time, have we? I know that's a stat that... Yeah, was it 2017 actually?
I think there was one in Baku. I think Alonso came over the radio. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it actually did end up being red flagged, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and watch the highlights on that.
Yeah, my gut feeling seems to think Baku 2017 for some reason. Obviously, we've spoken about it earlier in this video. Someone will correct us in the comments, I'm sure. But do I see a red flag? I don't, I just don't see at the moment, and especially with the tracks that we've got, unless we have severe weather conditions, I can't really see a red flag situation coming up. So I'm going to go with no on this one.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say yes, just for the sake of variety. and you know, we won't put a bet on it, but whoever wins, I don't know, we'll do something. And the second question is, and now this one's a difficult one because we don't know how many races there are going to be yet, but how many safety cars do you think there will be this season?
Geez, that is a difficult one because there's multiple ones per race sometimes, and then some that there isn't. There's very rare that there isn't a safety car in a race, so we don't even know how many races are on the calendar. God, this is a tough one, Nico. What am I going to do? I'm going to go with, we're going to have 17 safety cars this season.
That's very close to my prediction. I went with 18. And it's just because we don't know how many races there are going to be. And we might get a race without a safety car, and then it throws everything wide open. You know, forget the Constructors and Drivers' Championship. This is the real battle right here. How many safety cars there are going to be?
This is the one that people want to know about. Definitely, Nico.
I feel like we need to make a trophy as well. We'll make it out of paper and no one has to know any different. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't know how many races there are going to be yet, and if they're still targeting 15, you know, we're looking. I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 races we'll get without a safety car, maybe 1 or 2 where we'll have maybe 3. You know, it's just really difficult to say. So yeah, I guess only time will tell. I'm not even sure when the season's supposed to finish. I don't think they've released race dates yet for the other half of the season.
No, we've no idea at this point.
At least we've got some racing, you know, and if you take out Spain, then, you know, that's a really, really good calendar. If you just duplicate that, it'd be great. I'm not a fan of Spain.
But Spain in the summer throws an interesting curveball. We all go in that. It is temperatures could be soaring in Spain during that time. We don't know, but we can hope that it might add some variety to what is basically a better MotoGP track than it is Formula 1 track.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a fan of the MotoGP. I know my friend who lives with me, Jack. He says that he loves MotoGP and it's a brilliant track for the bikes. So, you know, I'll take his word for it because I won't watch it. But yeah, hopefully it will throw some spanners in the works, as you said. You know, hot temperatures, and if not, if it's a wet race, well, it's a wet race. So, you know, let's hope Grosjean doesn't do a 2018 and spin up his wheels. I remember watching that. I was, what are you doing? Anyway, well, that's going to do it for today's video. Just want to say a huge thank you to Mike for being part of this video and your continued support. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, Mike. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No problem at all. It's been great coming on, and all I can say for people is make sure you drop a subscribe to Nico. Comes up with great ideas on the channel, really kind of great videos to watch, and they're usually kind of nice and bite-sized, so easy to kind of digest on that. So definitely drop him a sub while you're at it. But thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Make sure you go and check out Mike as well. His link will be in the description as well as his Twitter. And yeah, I'm going to be going back to recording videos because I've got 8 more to record in the next few days. So I've got a lot of editing and recording to do because I'm off for a nice summer holiday where I can't upload any videos because everybody is always in the house and I can't talk without anybody hearing. So yeah, if you'd like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button and let us know your thoughts for the thoughts and predictions for the 2020 season. And I'll be back soon with another video. Almost messed that one up right towards the end. But until next time, have a good day, and I'll see you later.